everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Cantina Conversations, the galaxy's #1 conversational podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Will Beeman, joined as always by my two illustrious Canadian compadres. Starting off on the bottom this week is the ever so lovely, the very hairy DJ. DJ, how are you doing today?
Why do you gotta do that?
Hairy
I
DJ.
didn't
Hairy
shave
DJ.
today. Like, it's fine. Or I shouldn't say today as if I shave every day. I didn't shave, this past maybe 3 weeks. It happens. You forget.
You shouldn't
sometimes.
feel bad. The beard looks good.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It's filling in nice.
It would look good if it filled in. I've always said this. I think I would pull it off well. It just doesn't happen.
You need it for your role as the boss.
It's true. It's true. Big Boss didn't have
authority.
a beard.
Big Boss DJ needs a beard, so I say keep growing it.
Should I do the mullet, Big Boss mullet as well?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
I can't get one, so please get a mullet for me.
Okay,
I kind of had a mullet. Oh wait, no, you haven't introduced me yet. Sorry.
Oh yeah, and speaking out of turn, wearing his best '90s sweatshirt is Jackson Wells. Jackson, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I had a bit of a mullet going during, these troubling times that have been occurring recently when they were kind of at their peak last summer. And then I got a job interview and I was like, I should not have a faux mullet for this job interview. And I was able to deal with that.
These troubling, unprecedented times. But COVID is over. Pandemic ended. America has declared it. So we are set.
Yeah, that means we can do whatever we want now, right?
Yeah, everything's
fine.
I'm gonna spit in people's mouths. That's what I'm gonna do to celebrate. Yeah. So you guys got a visit.
I was thinking of looking like a car seat or something. Is my way to celebrate the new era.
Licking a car seat?
Yeah, just spread it,
TJ, can I ask you an off-topic question before we get started?
Okay,
here?
hit me with your
How's
question.
your new bike?
I haven't seen my new bike yet.
What?
It's in the shop because we had to watch the Snyder Cut the night that we were putting it together, or the morning that we were putting it together. So I was not there, and then
wait, you bought a bike and had to put it together?
Yeah, because it's used. So we took apart parts off of mine and the other person's bike and fused them together as one super bike. It's like Transformers when they all become Devastator. It's the same thing. I took the wheels off my bike and the fork off my bike and put it on with all the other stuff.
You know what?
I didn't do any of this because I wasn't able because I had watched the Snyder Cut.
You make it sound like that was a bad time. That was a great time.
It was fine. It was fun, but I would have liked to have been there to put it together myself or help.
I picture DJ, he's got one of those like soldering masks on. He's like soldering and he lifts it up and he like wipes his forehead.
You don't need to solder for a bike.
He's in a wife beater. He's got the apron on.
No.
Pony by Genuine is playing.
No.
He's just sweating.
I'm just describing the scene from Magic Mike, except picturing it's DJ instead of Channing Tatum.
I'm sorry to disappoint, Will, but it's not what a photo looked like.
I'm gonna have to see if that deep fake app that I has some Magic Mike on there, and I'm gonna put DJ's face on some of them.
Okay, I'm excited to see these
that way. Yeah,
I've seen enough of you refacing GIFs. I've seen enough of you refacing GIFs of other movies with your own face. I'd like to have some of me too.
I made some new ones today, actually. Just haven't posted it anywhere yet. Great, they're good ones too.
I'm excited. I think you know what? I bet they're Snyder Cut. I bet they're things from the Snyder Cut. It's like you as Henry Cavill Superman messing up.
I mean, that's
Stephen
the dream is to be Henry Cavill's Superman.
You as Darkseid? That'd be cool.
No, that would be cool. Could you picture me being intimidating? It happens sometimes under the right conditions.
Aren't you like 6'2"?
I'm 6'3", yeah. I'm
a big man. I'm 5'5". You're very intimidating. 5'5"? Yes.
Oh, I forgot you're so little. Oh, DJ.
You're gonna destroy me. You're always intimidating.
I just want to coddle him.
Oh man.
Well, there's no news that I'm aware of, at least, that has come out. So I mean, unless something somehow sneaked under my brow, I have not seen any Star Wars related news.
I've been so deep in DC movie news and like thinking about it that I haven't even really looked at Star Wars.
Well, what have we been doing for the past week? What have we been doing to spend our time, Jackson?
We've just been discoursing about the Snyder Cut the entire time.
That's what you've been doing. You haven't done anything else.
We've been questing.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying like you specifically. Like,
he was I don't think he was looking for an answer. I think he was just asking how you were doing.
I was asking a genuine question.
Oh, I've literally just been doing like different papers all week. I've had a pretty busy education, writing.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be continuing that after this. So the content comes first.
That's right.
That's what I always say.
It does.
We're rolling in big bucks on this podcast, so that's why it's always got to come first. DJ, what'd you do this week? Anything?
The Snyder Cut inspired me to consume 2 different DC works that have no characters from the Snyder Cut in them. I've read half of James Tionn's Justice League Dark, and I've read Green Lantern Earth 1. So the Snyder Cut really inspired me to dig into characters that were not referenced in this movie at all,
It just brought back that DC fandom.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? I should read some comics.
Or the fandom, as they call it.
Oh, yes.
I keep peering over here at my little comic collection I still have and seeing all my DC ones and thinking it's time for a reread.
Yeah?
I can see Flashpoint staring at me right now. I might reread that.
Never read it. I've just watched the movie and been like, yeah, that's my fill. I'm good.
The movie does a good job of it.
I think I might have.
That's what I've heard too, so it's fine.
Yeah. I think it was like, I think Son of Batman is where they really start deviating in their animated films from the comics they're adapting. I think that's when it starts, and then they kind of started doing their own like Avengers thing, if I remember correctly.
I was watching, someone posted some clips for The Dark Knight Returns when like the just Snyder Cut discourse was happening, and I was like, I don't like this movie, but I wish the DCAU movies felt this epic again, because this like everything about that movie like feels so has so much more gravitas than they do now. So,
you don't like the animated movie?
I don't like The Dark Knight Returns. Period.
Oh, okay, so, that would make sense then.
I like some of it, but yeah.
I bought it like as it was coming out though, so I have the first and second part as separate movies. Like you can buy them as one movie now.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell this random aside, and then we'll get into it.
Then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I remember so I've watched that Dark Knight Returns movie like dozens of times because I have it on DVD. I got it when I was a kid. But what happened is I was at this like random like used video store, or I guess video store is what they call them, you know what I mean? Like a hawk shop kind of thing, like with my dad. And I went to go buy it. And when I went to buy it, they inspected the discs, and this was on one disc it had the movie, and on the second disc was special features. And the second disc was scratched. So they gave me the movie for free because one of the discs, but it was the special features disc that was scratched.
And
so
I
could just watch the movie. And it was perfect. That's my story about the
That's
Dark Knight Returns
right
DVD.
there.
Yeah, that's a W.
Especially when you're like 12, 13 maybe, and you're like, yo, I got this free movie that I was gonna pay
also
for.
Like we're not that old, or we're not that young, where like when we were 12 and 13 streaming movies was not like totally a thing. Like it's sort of a thing, but like getting a free movie was still just like, I got a free movie. Nice.
I remember when Netflix streaming launched on the PlayStation 3, and I got it that day, like the first day, and was talking to my friends about it. And they're like, "That's dumb. It's never gonna last."
Yeah. Want to come to Blockbuster with us?
I still went to Blockbuster too.
Oh yeah.
Until it closed. I wish, I don't know where I think it's probably in one of my old wallets, my membership card, but I'm surprised it hasn't been brought back as some kind of niche thing. But for the past week,
we're almost there.
Before we start, for the past week, I have been playing the Pokemon trading card game. Dominating online.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm very proud.
I've built a pretty good deck, so I'm dominating.
Like against randos?
Yeah, I'm playing versus mode online, so it's just against random people.
Are you using legitimate means? Like, is there an actual trading card online game right now?
Yeah, it's got like like the official online version of it launched like in 2012 or something like that. And then I never really bothered with that because I still had friends that regularly played the card game in person.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm getting back into it, I don't really have a group of friends that are like playing the physical card game.
Everyone else grew up.
Yeah, basically. So then so I started actually playing the digital version of the game, but now it's got an iPad app.
Right.
So I don't need to be on my computer to play it. I can just play it on my couch. But been dominating on there.
Yeah, get proud of you. What's your favorite card right now?
My favorite card is definitely the double VMAX card. It's super.
I don't know. I was expecting a
super
Pokemon
overpowered.
like, that I
is
would
a
know
Pokemon.
of. Double
Well,
VMAX? Who's that?
Double?
What did you say? Double VMAX?
Well, I mean, like it's his VMAX version of the card. Jeez, DJ, fake
Who's
fan
double?
DJ over
Who's
here.
double?
Double? He's like a sheep.
Oh yeah, okay. I was hearing you as like double, and I was like, what does double VMAX do? Like as if it was like a buff card, or so. I understand now. Okay.
Yeah, that card's pretty overpowered. So that's the one that's been giving me my strength.
That's the dub card.
Yeah, it's got dub in the name, so like it's a guaranteed win. You know,
it makes sense.
Yeah, I'll go on like a 6-win streak and then lose one to keep me humble.
Yeah,
I can't get that ego too big. So yeah, so that sufficiently fills the void of where the news would be, is talking about ourselves. So let's just dive into this week's double feature. Yes.
Okay.
Would you be able to tell if you're playing against like literal children versus
adults?
I
can tell when it's actually a kid because they're real dumb.
Yeah.
Like they don't make good moves or anything, and then I beat them in like 3 turns, and then
you take
I'll play somebody.
Cards.
Yeah, then I'll play somebody that you can tell knows what they're doing, and then it's like
I've never played this game, but I imagine it doesn't work just like throw out your best Pokemon immediately and you'll win. I imagine there's a lot of depth.
Yeah, there's strategy to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Does that satisfy you, Jackson? Are you ready to lead us on another journey?
Take me away.
I'm ready to dive in. Okay.
Shout out to Jackson's laundry bag.
It's back. It's back.
It is back. We missed it last week.
This week we will be going through two episodes that kind of serve as prequels and sequels to the episode Rookies that we discussed in our first episode. And this prequel and sequel is a weird way to put it. I like to think of it as continuing the narrative of Diamond Squad.
It has been weirdly like a continuing narrative that we've been doing, like doing this thing where we're just focused on the clones. I was shocked how much I was just like, this just feels like I'm watching their story through the war. Like I was expecting it to feel like very off, like jumping this much, but it totally feels like fluid. It's weird.
Right.
Yeah, it's good. And as kind of DJ and I were talking the other day, for what reason these episodes have been produced and released and like in this weird kind of like non-linear fashion, I don't know. I tried to figure it out, but I couldn't get any quotes from Filoni or anything. So we'll just say it's as the Lord intended, and by the Lord I mean George Lucas, the maker, some would say. All right, so let's run through some kind of the information, and then we'll run through this. So this episode is juicy. It's moist to the touch, lots to taste. Okay, so this is season 3, episode 1. It released September 17th, 2010. That's almost my brother's birthday.
That was 20.
Yeah, you don't want to know how old I was. This is directed by Dave Filoni and written by Cameron Litvak. So yeah, this you can kind of tell maybe this episode is important because it's got our boy Dave running the show. All right, so I don't think there's any more background, so let's just hop right into it. Clone troopers unite. As the war rages across the galaxy, the Republic's clone army strives for victory against the evil forces of the Separatists. Bravery, valor, unity, the lifeblood of victory on the battlefield and in space. It all begins on the planet Camino, where Jedi General Shaak Ti oversees the training of clones with the help of contracted bounty hunters. Bred to be the perfect soldiers, these cadets must first be subjected to intense physical and mental training before heading off to war. My first note here is contracted bounty hunters.
The Jedi can't do it themselves. They're just like,
they're busy.
We're fighting a war. I get it. They're fighting a war, but it's just kind of absurd.
There's got to be someone else you can hire to do this.
Well, like, you got to keep in mind, bounty hunters aren't inherently bad.
I guess.
Like look at Dog the
This guy
Hunter.
is.
Yeah, this guy is.
Yeah.
I would say in Star Wars, the connotation of a bounty hunter is not inherently positive.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Especially considering, like, obviously we're not talking about the entirety of the show, but most of season 2 surrounds dealing with some nasty bounty hunters.
Yeah. It's weird too how because you think about it in like the prequel trilogy, they say like the Republic doesn't have an army until the clones. Like they're just like running off of these weird Jedi superhero cop dudes running around and basically solving all their problems. And it's super weird how like on the fly they're just like, well, I guess we get contract like trainees. I don't know what we're doing. Like it very much has that feel where they're putting it together on the fly.
It's just like you think about too, like there's like Yularen and then like Tarkin at a certain point. Like there are like not civilians, but like they're just like normal human like people who were involved in fighting this war. And by normal humans, I mean non-clones. Are clones human? Anyways, so like there's gotta be like a Yularen that you can throw in here as opposed to, especially we'll get through this episode, but the bounty hunter Brick is like very clearly like to Shakti's face, like not a good person.
His name is Brick. Like, what do you expect?
Well, you know, Brick's a great 2005 film directed by Ryan Johnson.
I know that part, but
and it's also Brick, BRIC. There's no K. So yeah.
But you know what? Every kiss begins with K.
Is true? I guess. Yeah.
Okay, let's start running through the actual episode here because we've made it so far with only talking about the voiceover. I still don't know what to call it.
I guess it's a crawl. We can call it a crawl.
It's an audio crawl.
Yeah.
So this episode starts off with Domino Squad in the midst of their kind of like pre like kind of final exams is just the way my brain works.
They're doing graduation rehearsals, basically.
Yeah, except their graduation comes with a conditional. Like you haven't already graduated.
Yeah.
The test is basically it's a military exercise, but it's going to be run through a lot. So it starts with just trying to get up and like basically grab the flag. It's like a capture the flag kind of thing.
Yeah.
Reach the objective. However, the team is very dysfunctional, and we've got Domino Squad, just to refresh everyone's memory, is made up of Heavy, Cut Up, Droid Bait, Fives, and Echo. If you remember, we already know that Heavy, Cut Up, and Droid Bait don't make it too far in this series. So, but it is kind of, I don't know, at least for me, it's kind of nice because I think Rookies does a really good job of introducing those characters and then like kind of making them like a Western. Like you don't get a lot of time with them, and it's like they died valiantly, and that's it. But to kind of see those oranges and then knowing that Fives and Echo kind of continue on, I think it's interesting. But yeah,
did you know that Star Wars is a Western?
Oh, it's cool seeing them too. How they're like using their I guess their protocol names, like they're like codes and still, and then like every now and then someone will say, I think there's one where like someone says Echo and he's like, what are you talking about? Something like that, where it's just, then you say, oh, I want to use a name, and it's like, oh, okay, this is cool.
You see them all kind of get their name too, and it's not like really necessarily a given thing. It's like, oh, Droid Bait just keeps getting shot. So he's bait for droids, and then Echo, they call him Echo because he keeps repeating orders. It's very natural, and it's funny. I like it. And it's kind of interesting to see because as I've mentioned a couple times, like it's hard to tell what each of these clones are, especially at this point because they're all kind of in their quote unquote like basic form yet.
Yes. And they're in their practice jerseys.
Yeah, they're in their practice jerseys. And so, but they each kind of have you can kind of see their personalities difference, which is very effective in my opinion. Yeah, so it goes bad essentially, and it doesn't work. And the hired bounty hunter Brick is there with L, Les, and Jedi Master Shakti. And Brick is very hard on them. He thinks they are the worst and that they suck and that they should be sent to maintenance duty with 99, a malformed clone.
Our boy.
I can't remember if it's now or not, but at multiple points during this episode, they're referred to as a bad batch. which there's a show coming out called The Bad Batch, which is why we're doing this. So, yeah, we can maybe, I can't think of specifically when. So I just thought I'd mention it now. So, yeah, so Brick is basically he's right is kind of the problem here, especially at the beginning. Like they do suck. And then so the clones return to the barracks, and Echo's like, "We got this. We're brothers. Like we fight together." And then kind of gets into a scuffle, and Brick breaks him up, and it's just like, "You guys suck." And let me see what's next here. So Lama Su, who is one of the weird Kaminoans, is like, maybe we just kind of get rid of these clones, which like you made them, like lady, like what's wrong here? But ultimately it's up to Shakti, and now night day. It's graduation day. ARC Trooper Commander Colt and 2 others have arrived. To kind of go over the different squads, and Domino squad's there, and Bravo squad takes the test. They're amazing. There's a little Bravo joke in there that I can't remember exactly the context of, but they're the Bravo squad. And Domino squad's turn, and they like kind of do a little bit better, but Droid Bait is left down, and they leave him behind. Which is important. They don't fail because they suck, but they decide to leave their brother behind, and that's an automatic fail. Which, Brotherhood, DJ, what are your thoughts on Brotherhood?
I liked that moment. I think it's a good moment to set up that as sets it up like a number one. They literally say it's the number one rule of clones, and I was like, oh, you can, thinking back, like you can kind of see that through line of like how much they care about their brothers, and like that's kind of like the heart of their entire thing. Throughout the show, so it was cool to see that rule kind of established in a way that like it's never called out later, but I liked it.
There is an important piece of dialogue though when
Shakti
and the Kaminoan are talking about, like when they're talking about nixing them or whatever, and she mentions how since Django's dead, they're like stretching his DNA for all it's worth to keep creating more. So it's like she's suggesting taking them out and just making more clones, but then she's like, but our supply is getting a little limited, so we don't know if that's actually a good...
I think she also mentions like trying to find another potential donor or something like that, which is an interesting concept.
And I don't know if that's like setting up for like Boba Fett, or because like they have to know Boba Fett's a thing, and maybe they could use him as the next donor.
Yeah, I also think that maybe it's like, hey, let's just pick another guy to be the clone clone guy, which is very strange. Because then it's like, who's the better clone? That's great. That's a great idea. I wonder what kind of horrors you could create by botching that.
You joke, but the way that Mando's going, there's been a lot of talk about how it's like going the heir to the Empire route, and then that is like by the end of that trilogy, there's a big storyline of like Thrawn making a new clone, trying to make a new clone army. So you never know. That could be a thing one day.
That would make it all come full circle.
Yeah, it all comes back to Camino, obviously.
Then like poetry. They've retconned the sequel. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, essentially they're like, well, maybe we'll let them try it one more time. But 99 kind of overhears this like between the two banners being like, oh, they suck, and the other one's like kind of nice. He's like, oh no, they can maybe do it. That night, and this is where I feel bad about this. Fives and Echo go to Shakti and request a transfer to Bravo Squad, which is first of all selfish, but also like they also have like failed throughout this.
Yeah, I don't know how they thought this was gonna go well.
They're like, oh no, we're above. They're the ones who keep messing up. It's like, well,
yeah, that's like their ego. Like they're not holding themselves accountable to help build up the team.
It's like when I play Rocket League, I always think like, well, it's on my teammates with this one. Like I'm good, but no, it's never that.
It's like when we play Ewok Hunt. If we do bad, it's because of DJ. It's not because of anything I do.
Yeah,
of course. And then that same night, CT4040 is summoned by Brick for a reprimand. Like, I don't understand what authority these bounty hunters have here. It's very strange to me. But essentially, he just like tries to like get him to hit him so he can get him in trouble. Then he calls him. He says, he makes a joke and he goes, "Ha, you're a real cut up." And he goes, "That's my name now."
Yeah, he's so cheeky about it too. He's like, "Thank you, sir. You gave me my name. I'm so happy."
I like
and
it
you just
because
punched me in the gut.
You've given me my name.
Yeah, I like it because like they're like actually like people in this, and I think it would be really boring if it's like we must continue to. They would just be droids if they were like that. But they kind of feel like they actually have like arcs, which gives them kind of personhood, I guess. I like it. Yeah, and then so the next day, or let me see. Oh yeah, and then that night, 99 catches 728, who's heavy, attempting to go AWOL, which I don't blame him. I would want to go AWOL too.
Not in my house.
But 99, the inspiring brother that he is, convinces Heavy to teach him the importance of brotherhood and teamwork, and it's a little ambiguous about whether or not he decides to stay. But the next morning, you wake up and they're all ready to go, and Heavy's like, "We got this. We could do it together." I will note that either at this point or in the previous one, the command for the challenge that has been set up is version THX variable 1138, which, as my good friend Will and DJ know, is a reference to George Lucas's first feature film.
It's a great movie. It just turned. It just had a birthday recently. I think it turned 50. I think it was something like that. It was a pretty big birthday, but
that's so weird.
Yeah,
George
good
Lucas
movie.
Doesn't feel that old.
I know. Well, he is. He's in the 70s.
I know. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, so we go. It's time to take the test again. Everyone's got their nicknames, and they're all leadership-wise. And now the clones have found the cohesion, and they're working together. But there's a trick here. Brick has gotten rid of their ascension cables, and he goes, "Did I do that?" And then like basically just admits to doing it. And Shakti's like, yes. On the battlefield, things aren't always as they seem. Which like what?
Oh well.
Yeah. I feel like she was pissed off deep down, but like she was just like, you know what? I believe. Let's see where this goes. Like,
well, you gotta remember the Jedi can't show anger.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, it says right here, LS, who is the other bounty hunter, it's like, hey, he cheated. And Shakti's like, the separatists would not play fair either, which is technically true. However, I don't know, it seems unfair to me. But anyways, Domino Squad basically adapts and overcomes. Like, what's the adapt and overcome?
That's something. What is that?
Is that a Last of Us thing? That's endure and survive.
There's something. You're onto something, but we're not going to get it.
But the good old army. But yeah, essentially, you know, as the story, you kind of expect it to end. They are successful, and they all, you know, they're promoted to shinies, and they eventually head. Well, they don't show it, but like it's implied that they head off to Rishi Outpost, which is where 2 of them go to die.
Yeah, I know this scene is really funny because like it's so triumphant that they're like, we did it. Now we can be nameless soldier, or not nameless, but like we're all the same in the same armor in this platoon of this very Nazi like army going to war. Just like, great, we get to die for you now. Fantastic! I love this life. This is good. It's kind of sad, but you know that's clones. You know, you love them while we're here.
The last important thing that happens is that Heavy gives 99 his graduation medal and says stuff. Hold on until I come back,
because 99 earned it.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a part of the team.
Our boy needs to have he's the one that really helps them all find their inner teammate, because he gives them all like their own custom pep talk basically, and
right.
He's always kind of like lurking in the background, listening to conversations, being like, yes, time to give my sage wisdom.
I mean, he's kind of like Quasimodo.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything about 99 about like why he's old? Like, is it just that he's a bad batch and he just accelerated aging?
I think it's just because he's malformed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
but he's very like. It's interesting because the like Clone Wars animation aesthetic is like so smooth, but he looks so wrinkly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe
like,
it's not. Maybe the intention is not that he's supposed to be like super old. It's just that he's supposed to be deformed. But like in the Clone Wars style, it just looks like he's just a 70-year-old clone. That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah, he's got that. I bet he has a weird texture to his skin that I would like to
I don't want to touch
him. To myself.
It's like it feels like a little loose. Like when you rub his arm, it like kind of moves a little bit more.
yeah, I don't like this.
It's very sacky.
Yeah, exactly.
The training course in this episode, though, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but do you know what that is trying to pay homage to? It is.
I feel like is it a World War II thing?
No, but I think I've shared this with you before. You probably just forgot. But it's supposed to be paying homage to the old, long-running American television series, American Gladiator, where it would have like 5 super buff, like super athletes trying to stop like regular people from completing these obstacle courses. But like that's where they got the influence from that from. But also, how much fun would that training course be as like a VR game though?
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun.
Or how about this? You put this in Galaxy's Edge and it's like a laser tag, and like you get your 5 friends and you be clone commandos, capture the flag.
DJ, hire him now.
DJ would be droid bait.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, who would I be?
You'd be Heavy.
Oh, is that a fat joke?
No, it wasn't.
Jackson, you would absolutely be Echo because we would obviously have someone else leading us because we can't do it ourselves. And then you would try to be like, yeah, let's do that. And I'd be like, just shut up and do your job, man. It's fine.
Man. Yeah, we would need one more person, wouldn't we? Are there 4 of them or 5?
There's 5.
Yeah, so we would need 2 more.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that like it's tough because you don't see any more of any of these people, but I feel like they're really fleshed out. But like this episode kind of gives more time to cut up Heavy and droid bait, knowing that like Fives and Echo like already have way more of their own story going on, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah. And like the next episode here is gonna have Fives and Echo anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah. So,
good episode though.
That's
great episode.
Good episode. Yeah. That one feels good. Are we ready to move on to the next one?
We are ready.
Absolutely.
Okay, so our next episode is ARC Troopers. It's the following episode in the series, so it's season 3, episode 2, and then it would have released September 17th, 2010. Oh, so this would have been
they aired back to back as an hour long premiere.
Oh. And this one is directed by Kyle Dunleavy and written by the same as the previous, Cameron Litvak. So yeah, this is confusing because it's like, I don't know. If I were just watching this show, I would be like, what's going on here? Or if I tuned in for the season premiere, I'd be like, whoa, what's going on here? But yeah, so this episode takes place, of course, after Rookies because it features only Fives and Echo, but also like after a lot of other stuff has happened in the show. That is,
I was curious about that, where it landed on the timeline here.
Yeah, because it feels like it says right here, I'm reading it serves as a sequel to the episode Rookies, but not immediately follow, which makes sense.
Makes sense.
And yeah, so that's kind of the little background. Let's hop right into the episode. Separatist attack. After the destruction of the Republic outpost on Rishi Moon, General Grievous and Asajj Ventress plan an attack on the planet Kamino, home of the cloning factories. Meanwhile, aboard a Jedi cruiser, Jedi Knights Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi examine an intercepted message from General Grievous.
I want you to call him General Grievous the rest of the episode.
Literally every single person's name in Star Wars is not like something that you can just like stream right out of your mouth.
There's no Johns in Star Wars. No.
There's no Johns in Star Wars.
Could you? Well, I guess the Legends kind of did. Like Kyle Katarn is a superhuman.
Well, John Katarn's is my favorite character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I can't think of any generic names in Star Wars.
Aside from man, that's Jedi Master John Smith.
What do you mean? Sheev isn't a typical name in your
No,
neck of the woods?
Sheev is not a typical name. Bounty Hunter Brian Davis is coming to get you.
I want to make that a character now.
Yeah.
The bounty hunter Brian Davis.
It'd be even worse for clones if one of the clones was just like, actually, Fred.
I'm surprised they didn't, because it's a kid show. Like, they all have those cool nicknames, and then there's one that's just like Toby.
Yeah.
And that would obviously be like the most important one, because it's like the one that's easiest to remember.
Yeah.
Commander Toby.
Really
we kind of have that with Cody.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Cody feel like, I don't know, it just feels like it makes sense.
Alliteration is probably why it's a mental trick that they're doing there.
That's true. Yeah. It's also like, here's a note: Rex and Cody. Where do those names come from? Because everyone else's name has like a meaning.
Rex is just a big fan of Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's interesting too, because if you think about it, like Commander Wolf, like Wolf's like a scary like name, but is he the wolf? Is that what they call him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
and do we ever go over why they are commanders? Was there was something with Rex in the first couple episodes, right?
I can't remember. There is stuff with Rex at the end though.
Okay. Because I'm just curious, like, if there's like a reason they would have like more generic names if they're like one of the first batches or something like that, and they're like, oh, like you're actually going to be a deal. Here's your name.
I think if I remember correctly, because in season 7, Rex becomes commander specifically for that final mission. I think if I remember like reading, it's like if he were commander, he would be in charge of his own group, and he wouldn't be able to lead the 501st with Anakin or something like that.
Yeah, there's something like that. Which is why Ahsoka got to be able to come along, because she was not a part of the Republic at the time.
And he was in charge.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's hop into this episode. This episode's also going to bounce around with a little bit of I will say, usually we wouldn't mention it, but there's some good Kenobi and Anakin in this episode. So
there is.
It might be necessary. So basically the Jedi like know that this is happening, and they've like prepared for it, and so they're like talking to like Obi-Wan and Anakin, talking to Rex and Cody, and they're like, we got to go back, and they're like, let's save our home. Like as you would do if your home is being invaded. You would want to protect it. Well, I think they actually say that's the closest we have to a home, which is also technically true.
I think that's a straight recall from no, not Rookies. The other one. It was Rookies. I think they do say something along the same lines, like, "Oh, it's the closest thing we have to a home." Like, I think it's a straight callback.
Yeah, because they're like, because Reese Station is like a way to get to Camino. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, they kind of return to Camino, the two commanders, and they meet up with Shakti and creepy Camino lady. And they're like, someone's coming, and they're like, we'll be ready. And then Echo and Fives are kind of like, it's like Echo and Fives are like, they went back to high school after they graduated.
Yeah,
at the very beginning. It's a very good kind of like, oh, look, that's where we were studying. And that's where we, I don't know.
And here's our old teacher, our favorite one that we always like to hang out with.
And then they run into 99, and he welcomes them back, and he's like, I remember all my brothers. And I'm like,
no, you don't.
Yeah,
no,
that's our boy.
That's
our boy, 99. He remembers.
There's no way he remembers every single one.
Yes, he does.
That's his quirk.
That's what makes him special.
And then he pulls out the medal. It's like, where's Heavy? And they're like, ooh, he died 2 seasons ago. Oops.
Yeah, sorry about that one.
And then he's like, I don't know, kind of reasonably like, well, that's the price of the battle.
Yeah.
This happens. And then the separatists kind of, and they whoosh in, and then Anakin does a little pew, 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 pew in space, and then all this debris falls, and they're like, oh, this is very convenient debris. And the debris is actually an enemy invading unit. And interesting to note in this episode, that's irrelevant, is that this is like the first meeting of Ventress and Grievous, which is weird to think about, Yeah, they call it out a couple times here. It's very strange. But yeah, essentially, the kind of plan here is for Ventress to steal the Jango Fett gene sample for undefined reasons. I guess
maybe to make her own army.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we're really getting screwed by these clones here. Maybe we should do some of those ourselves, I guess.
Which is weird because like you would think Dooku would know. I don't know.
Dooku was there.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I guess they couldn't make any more. Right. Is at the very least. I don't know. I remember it kind of being undefined. But yeah, so they kind of sneak in through the underwater. Obi-Wan finds them, gets caught up, and he flies on like a flying sea.
Yeah, almost drowns.
Creature. You know, as you do. And then Fives and Echo get a special mission, which is to hide up on like a platform and just pick off the droids that are slowly walking towards them. Yeah. Oh, here's where things get wild. Colt is another clone. Like he's like the commander of like the third group. He's like the C tier clone in this episode. And he runs into Ventress, and then she stabs him in the chest and then kisses him passionately.
This was good. Yeah, this was very good.
That's a good scene. A very controversial scene too.
Really?
Yeah.
People were mad that Ventress is giving people kisses.
Cartoon Network had them cut that scene out of reruns, and it wasn't until the Blu-ray and like Netflix got it where they put it back in.
Huh.
Yeah.
That was an essential scene in my opinion, so I'm very disappointed.
Okay, let me put this correctly. Ventress is very sexy in this episode, and I don't mean it in the way that I'm like attracted to her in this episode, but she acts very well, maybe a little bit.
She's a seductress.
Like, she acts very sensual throughout this episode, which is interesting.
My girlfriend was in the room when I was watching that episode, and she doesn't know who Ventress was, so she was like, "What's the deal with this girl here? Is she just like a sexy Jedi?" And I was like, "No, there's more to her.
She has there's
a lot more to her.
It's like you see, well, she's actually a witch from death."
You're the meme of the guy drinking at the party.
Yeah. That's me basically.
Yeah.
And this is also where Obi-Wan goes, "Anakin, go stop Ventress so I can fight Grievous because you can't meet him."
They were very close in the episode. There's multiple times where I'm just like, you guys are like in just in different rooms here. Something could happen. Never cross paths.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see if there's anything that actually makes sense here in regards to non-clone stuff. No, Obi-Wan and Grievous do battle here, and Grievous like walks on all fours, and it's super creepy.
He does the spider thing that you guys are afraid of.
I don't like it.
I didn't know how terrifying it could be till you played Battlefront 2, and then you're stricken with horror.
Speaking of DJ, what's your biggest note on this episode?
It's got that map. It's got a good map. It's just the map in Battlefront 2, and it's the best map in that game.
And it's not just Kamino, it's this version of Kamino, and you can tell because of all the squid like attacking from the Separatists.
Right, yeah, like it's cool.
Yeah, good map. And so, but to get back to the clones here, Fives and Echo are kind of doing their thing, and then 99 is just looking it all around. He's like, "Here's some grenades," and they're throwing them. And then some like kids show up, and they're like, "This is difficult."
What a weird. They're just saying, while we're at it, let's just do some child soldiers. Let's do it. Like,
there's a bunch of Boba Fett.
Boba
Fett's. And they're like, "Oh, we need to retreat." And 99's like, "I know the way. I know this place like the back of my hand." And they retreat
because he's the man.
Oh yeah, he's the man. We love him. And so they retreat back to the barracks that we have seen previously in the last episode. And you're like, remember back in the dorm days when we would hang out here, and now we've got to defend it with our lives.
Yeah, now I'm fighting a war
with a bunch of children.
Yeah.
Now my father figure is handing me a minigun. So
he pats on the head. He's like, "Wait for the signal." And so there's not like any actual this is weird because like they're in danger, but they're in danger from like base level droids. There's just a lot of them. And so they're kind of coming down the barracks, and then also at this point, Rex and Cody have met up with them. So it's Rex, Cody, Fives, Echo, and then the kids. They get ready, and 99, because he's the man, is like, yo, the armory is right down the hall. Let's get some guns, let's strap up, and we're good to go. And yeah, so they do little tricks, and they wait for them to run closer, and then the kids pop out from behind and shoot them in the back. And they run out of grenades, and this is when 99 is like, I can go get some more. Then he runs, and he maybe foolishly, maybe a little too eager to help and protect his brothers.
A little foolishly.
And
DJ's hating.
I'm not okay. We'll get to it after.
99 is gunned down by battle droids.
R.I.P. Man,
I did not cry again. So
DJ has no soul and would not cry when 99 dies.
See, I think I'm capable of crying. I just don't think.
Are you capable of crying?
Yeah, no, I've cried. It's happened a few times.
I don't believe it.
No, yeah, it's happened.
Did you cry when you broke your collarbone?
Yeah, but not out of pain, out of like, I don't want to deal with this. This is a terrible time.
Okay.
This is going to be the next 6 weeks of my life. This is not good.
There's a, dare I say, like haunting shot at the very end where like either Echo or Fives is like cradling his body.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like from the top down, and like they're kind of all just kind of standing there looking, and it rolls. I was like,
that's one that really drives the point home.
They're like, this is like their like dad or like their brother died, and like they're like holding him. I was like, oh, this is so sad.
I know. The first time I watched this episode, man, did the waterworks come.
Really?
Like, oh man, I was just sobbing because I'm not a robot.
Exactly. Yeah,
I got a little misty this time around, and it was late last night.
It's sad. It's definitely sad. My beef with the scene is just, I think he dies like a chump. I think they could have done a lot better. Like, I think if I was writing this show, and you know, I'm not a writer, so I'm not saying I'm smarter than Dave Filoni. I'm just saying if I was doing it, I would have him do something more important than like, I'm gonna run and get the grenades, and everyone's like, there's gunfire everywhere. That is a terrible idea. Don't run and get the grenades. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, but like, there's
why couldn't he make a noble sacrifice to like, oh, like I gotta throw the grenade down this shaft, like, and it'll blow up the reactor or some, you know, some Star Wars stuff.
You mean like in like the same thing they do in every Star Wars movie?
Yeah. See, I would just, if I was a Star Wars writer, I would just rip off Star Wars. So, which is basically like episode 9. So I'm halfway there.
Written by Chris Terrio, the writer of the Zack Snyder's Justice League, now streaming on HBO Max.
Yeah, and then like at the very end of this episode, Echo and Fives are promoted to ARC troopers, and they're like, "Nice, we made it." But then they're like, "Ooh, but all of the loss that has come behind us."
Also, I'm in a war still.
Yes, war never changes.
Cool. We get to be the more important troopers, which means we get to go on the more dangerous missions.
Yeah,
that's what they're bred for.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
It's the whole point of them.
So yeah, that's the episode ARC Troopers. Another very good episode in my opinion.
One note I had on 99, which I thought was kind of an interesting thing, a thing that I really liked. He's like the only clone we see up until this point that looks like very different, where he is like a complete outcast, and everything we see of him with clones is like very inclusive and very like, oh, we love 99. Like, he was shoved off into the maintenance, so but that was like by their executives, but like all the clones like really love this guy, and I just thought that was a cool touch that like they wouldn't have that very primal preconceived notion of
you were
like,
you were literally worse than us, which is like technically true.
Which is true, and like they're just like, no, like, and it almost like it makes me think of like where like people, like when people do tests on like children, and like where they have no preconceived notion about like race, where like they just see the symmetry in the eyes and the face, and they understand like this is a human, like I'm here for this dude, like we're together. And the clones are kind of like working in the same way. They don't have any biases yet because they're new, which I thought was a cool touch for 99.
Our boy.
He's a boy. I love that boy.
I have one piece of trivia I'd like to share.
Okay, hit me.
And this comes from StarWars.com/Clone Wars/guys/episode 302. That is now defunct. So if you have to look through the Wayback Machine. Fives and Echo have decals on their armor commemorating Heavy's sacrifice in the Rishi Moon. It is an illustration of a Z6 rotary blaster cannon that he used with the words "for Heavy" written in Arabic.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. A detail for the nerds out there that they've probably already recognized.
That is a good detail. Well, I mean, it's even cooler that it's in Arabic.
Yeah,
I love that language. That's why it's on my arm forever.
True.
I did some Googling while you were looking up something, and the only origin I can find for Rex's name is just that Lucas picked it. So
fair enough. Just like Grogu.
Yeah. So that's his story, I guess.
It's a cool name.
It's a cool name, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. Good episode again. Once again.
Those are two good episodes. And I think it's good to watch those back to back too. They play just like one long episode.
And yeah, this is something that I was kind of reading a little bit about last night. It's like Domino Squad is kind of like the kind of clones that we see aside from Rex and even Cody, who we see much less. And they're kind of, I wish, I guess we could talk about this at the end of kind of this conversation, but I wish we got like a little bit more with them.
Yeah.
Just because I think their stories are interesting. At the very least, like there's like no extended media on them. Like there's no like books or comics, which like seems like kind of like a slam dunk.
Yeah.
And even them as like an establishment of like the clones is like very weird and like not developed enough. Like maybe it's part of the reason. Remember, part of it is that like I binged the show and originally and I didn't like totally remember. But in my head, thinking back, I would have never said like, oh yeah, they're Diamond and Echo, they're in like a squad. I would have been like, yeah, they show up every now and then, but like it's not like a big thing. Like that's not something that like sticks with you.
Yeah.
So
one thing to note too is we're talking about the episodes where these clones are like featured the most.
Yeah.
But like Fives and Echo are like a part of the 501st. So like they'll appear in other episodes in like minor ways that we're just not going to cover.
Yeah, they're pretty like main names with the clones throughout the series. I would say
it makes sense. You might as well throw the two recognizable ones in there with Rex.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, there's something so cool about Echo's like handprint on his armor. It's so cool. Look, it's also like such a smart like way to like just always have him look different.
Yeah. No matter what, helmet or no helmet, like you don't do something to his face, you do it to his armor.
Right. I don't know about you guys though, but every week when we rewatch these episodes, like to prepare for recording, it makes me just want to watch the whole series over again. Like I have to like resist not to keep watching after I watch them.
I don't know. I like getting a little sneak peek every now and then. I like to take my time.
Well, I was able to get my girlfriend in the room for one of the episodes, so I'm hoping next week she'll be in there for both, and then she'll follow 3, and then so maybe then I can just do a series rewatch with her. So that just
I think like this next one is 4 episodes, is it not?
No, I'm pretty sure Umbra's only 3. Who's to say?
Who is to say?
Who is to say?
Anyway,
no
I would put the Deserter above these two though, personally. If we were ranking all the episodes so far,
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would think it's the Deserter, these 2 episodes, then
Rookies, and then the first episode.
Yeah.
Hidden Enemy too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hidden Enemy is good though. Yeah, this has been a good journey so far. We're making good progress.
I agree. So I mean, is there anything else that we want to talk about these episodes on? I think we kind of nailed it.
I think we got it. We got it.
Oh, there's one good moment that I forgot to mention, and it's when Ventress is making her escape, and she's kind of like one-on-oneing Anakin, and then like from behind him, like 20 clone troopers descend on her, and they're like, she's like, peace. I thought that was a clever little turn of events.
Yeah.
Some good clone hijinks.
No, not a ton of good droid humor in this episode, I will say.
No, for the amount of droids that we had here, not a lot of droids.
Yeah, lacking droid humor. I always appreciate some good droid humor.
D+ episode. No droid humor.
But that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Cantina Conversations. What did you think of these episodes? Let us know on Twitter at Cantina Convo. Make sure if you do that, and if you haven't already, to also compliment DJ's haircut by saying "nice hair, DJ."
I think that was last week you did that. So
that was like 2 weeks ago. I'm just saying if people haven't yet,
I don't think people are going to do it.
There's still a chance. There's still a chance, but
I don't need the compliments.
But yeah, so go ahead and follow us on there. Make sure if you haven't yet, whatever you are listening to our show on, make sure to give us a rating if you would like, and thumbs up, or leave a comment, any kind of interaction with that kind of stuff that can help put us into the all caps algorithms to help the show
Those
continue
hashtags
to grow.
I will say DJ is right. We've got 4 episodes come, a big long Umbra arc.
Yeah, that's going to be a big arc. I'm
Juicy.
excited for that.
Ready to sink my teeth into it.
Yeah, that's going to be a night.
And then the next week we have to watch all of Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, do we not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm ready for a meaty arc. But until next time, Jackson, where can the good people find you?
Catch me at Jackson W. Wells on Twitter.
And DJ, where can they find you at?
DJ_Gillard on Twitter.
DJ, what's the next thing you're going to tweet about?
I don't know. We'll see where the music takes me.
It's going to be Snyder Cut related, I bet.
No.
Yeah.
No. I've moved on, Will.
And you can find me on Twitter at WO Beeman. Thanks for tuning in, and until next week, may the force be with you.